Hi, Carl Schilling with you once again here today with Financial Transformation. Now, we are working through the seven most damaging investing behaviors. And as usual, this white paper is available right here in this video, this part of the video. If you get the video on YouTube, we don't have the interactivity. If you get our Enfuse interactive videos, you'll see all the links, the little areas that prep you to download or to connect or whatever it may be, call, direct, whatever it may be in that video. Okay, so those videos are available as well. Same video. It's just a matter of a different format. All right. So today, again, we're going to continue along in our seven most damaging investing behaviors. And we've talked to you so far about overconfidence, and we've talked about selective memory. Now, another piece of this whole thing that comes from that, it leads to what we like to refer to as a confirmation bias. Now, everybody kind of struggles with this kind of situation, because what happens is this is from anchoring and overconfidence, and what continues down that road is confirmation bias. This is a bias that puts us at risk to the way we perceive information. We see all information within our own lens. We don't get to see the full totality of the picture because we're not looking out. We're funneled in, and built into that funnel is our own personal bias. So during the decision making with a financial decision, you're always going to somehow refer to information that supports your decision more favorably. That's going to kind of disallow you to pay attention to the negative information that should be under your consideration, because you have to take into account the full totality of the picture, and that's what we're not doing. Now, sales predators know how to play this against you, all right, because they already know that we come with individual biases. So really strong sales manipulators will be able to work your decision-making process against you, okay? Because right now, what they do with subliminal messages and all is they go right to your core belief system, all right? And they like to trigger the confirmation bias immediately, because recognizing that you're only going to filter in the information that supports the way you make a decision. You're going to filter out all of the information that would change the perspective of how you want to make that decision, because you need a confirmation bias, because you always want to feel confident in your own abilities. Okay. So let's make a quick example before we go to a brief break. Let's say you have a favorite industrial sector, and that it's been very good to you in the past in investing. Okay. Maybe it's energy or gas or something of that nature, right? Oil. So let's say you're going to be much more inclined to believe information that supports that positive experience that you had in the past in that sector. Now, you're going to disregard any contrary information that basically would belie the fact of you've had this past success. So seeing you've had past success, automatically you're going to have future success. And you're only going to take in the information within that bias that supports you for being successful, and anything contrary that would suggest that possibly you could have a loss, you're going to somehow ignore in your confirmation bias. Very unfortunate, but everybody has this, and you got to break through it. It's a very damaging deal. Now, before we get further down the road on confirmation bias, I did want to speak to you today. I'm going to go a little in depth, a little more. I wanted to speak to you about our friends over at eXp Realty, and especially for those of you who are real estate professionals. We have many who watch Financial Transformation or get involved with us. I want you to realize that this, as we always talk about, is where the puck is going to be. Here's the deal with eXp. You can get direct, residual, and passive income. And because of the structure of the company, you have ownership in that company. That's where the passive income comes from. They are a publicly traded company, and through your efforts, you have the ability to accumulate stock. You have the ability to accumulate stock from a organizational perspective, as well as you have the opportunity to invest in the company yourself at discounts to accumulate stock that way. Now, that's all passive income. That's totally unique. There is no such other opportunity in the real estate industry. So you have direct, residual, and passive income. And for all of those who you followed through on everything we talk about, you know you need direct, residual, and passive income. So those people at EXP, my friends Kyle Handy and his team, will explain it all to you. They'll show you step by step, but you will be highly productive and you will have the ability to have three types of income that you cannot get in the real estate industry. Now, let me say one last thing about that. Of course, you're going to have the link up here above my dome, above my Chrome here, and you're going to be able to go directly to Kyle and speak with them. This is not a paid commercial. We do not get any form of compensation back from EXP for me to mention this or for me to allow you to have this opportunity. This is strictly from us to you. And I think you need to take close advantage of it if you are a real estate professional or if you're considering getting a real estate license and going into real estate sales. Call Kyle Handy, tell him that Carl sent you, and get that started today. Okay. Now, let's get back to confirmation bias, all right? Here's the thing. Hindsight is always a predominant factor in a confirmation bias because this creates the tendency to reevaluate past behavior surrounding the decision that you've made. And the full awareness of that outcome is that if it's negative, you're still going to be contrary to the fact that you had a negative experience. You're going to eliminate the factors and the things that could have helped you overcome the negative experience. You're just going to discount those because you're always looking for the thing that fits your perception of why this will be successful. You're always looking for that. So your judgment on a previous decision is always tainted by a bias that's formed to accommodate the new information. So you always want to see the new information in this bias. You want to see it in positive. And anything contrary to that, you want to eliminate. This is just the natural way that we think. It's the natural psychological triggers and how this works. But once you know this, you have the ability to overcome, okay? Because change is always difficult. We know this. We always discuss it. But if you're going to change and you're going to change those behaviors, you have to have a really, really in-depth analysis. And you have to gain awareness of these personal traits that you are basically not overcoming, okay? So until you have full awareness of this, you don't even know what's going on. It's totally unconscious. It's totally, and that's the difficulty. So you're blind to the internal bias, okay? We're totally blinded. We don't see it because we're so narrow in our vision on it, okay? But this becomes like a hamster on a wheel. You're just constantly doing the same thing over and over and over. You know, I always refer to the analogy of a hamster. Think about it. The hamster is a very hardworking little animal. I mean, a hamster is going at it, but they're doing absolutely nothing. But they're working hard, and they're accomplishing nothing. Now, maybe if somebody would, connect the wheel to some form of energy or something, so the hamster's running, maybe he can turn on a light bulb or he can make something happen. But for the most part, a hamster's just running in place, working towards nothing. And we fall into that many, many times. We fall into that victimization totally unwittingly and totally unconsciously, but we end up falling into it. And these are behaviors that are hard to break. Now, before we move on to close out with confirmation bias, I wanted to speak to you today about FES. FES is Financial Education Services, and as such, in this is a service that we offer. So we are involved in this ourselves, okay? This is something that we offer to, as we always talk about the 4 quarters of life, this is something we offer in each quarter, second, third, fourth quarter. It doesn't make a difference what your age is at that point, as long as you are of working age and you're building a credit record. That credit record is really your golden ticket. You know, it's the ticket like the Willy Wonka factory. It's the golden ticket because the golden ticket is the thing that opens up all the doors for you to be credit worthy. Credit worthy means that the lenders and all the people facilitating things that you want to achieve, you want to get, even jobs, okay, jobs, or even auto insurance. All these different things are impacted by your credit record. A poor credit record leads to you losing an incredible amount of money by overpaying where you don't need to be overpaying, higher interest rates, being declined and denied. Also, maybe not being able to get the job you want. Okay, so that career impact. And lastly, obviously, things like insurance and other areas, you could be declined, denied, or paying too much. So financial education services will resolve all that, takes care of it. It's a wonderful plan. Over here on my right-hand side, just link in, take a look, and we can discuss it, okay? All right, so let's close out on our power of confirmation bias, okay? So what do we want to do realistically, okay? You can work hard, make incredible efforts in these areas, and yet all of the things that you do are going to be impacted by your decision-making process, okay? So if you can identify these biases and make the necessary change, you're going to have a much happier experience. You're going to be much further down the road. Again, the best way to do this is to get back into that journal and journal your experiences as they pertain to your decision-making process, because you'll be able to see the bias right there on paper. You'll be able to recognize it. You'll be able to know about it, okay? Without this data and without this reflection, you're going to continue to just groove ruts into your mind and groove the rut of the decision-making process that you already have. And you're going to continue to make the same mistake over and over and over, just like that hamster running on a wheel. All right? So we become creatures of habits in our decisions. That's what we do. So by having a record of the thought process on paper and the emotions that were involved, you can review the results. You can see it. You can get them down, okay? So you can treat the information with full objectivity. You'll never fall victim to your own confirmation bias if you do this. So here's some journal questions to think about. How can I use confirmation bias to my advantage in financial decisions? Get it down. How has confirmation bias damaged my ability to make smart decisions about money? Do I recognize that I have a confirmation bias? And then create 10 questions of your own, okay? Just as we always discuss. So in closing, I want to talk to you lastly, which there'll be another little video right here. You know, you just click on, you can watch that. It's a short, brief 3-4 minute video where I describe for you becoming an inner circle member and help allowing us to work together with you in a what we'd call a mastermind grouping. We only have 10 people, never more. So 10 people per each session, 10 people in each of our platforms. And we work directly with you to help you make the financial transformation you need to make. We don't just discuss these things, we work on these things. We work with you on these things. We help, we're your coach, we're your mentor, we are your facilitator. We help you overcome these very issues we're discussing, okay? And we help you build a very strong, solid platform for you to move towards financial independence, because financial independence is and always will be a journey. It is as we always discuss, a jigsaw puzzle with all the pieces that need to come together. And they're not the same for each individual. Everybody has a differing circumstance, but everybody has the same opportunity to become financially independent. It's just a matter of how do you successfully navigate your specific circumstances, and how do we help you grow and overcome the behaviors that are basically impacting all of your abilities to make smart decisions about money. And this is not that difficult, but it is something that needs repetition. It needs direction, and it needs counseling, and it needs someone who can bring you through to see these things for yourself. So that's what the inner circle is all about. So come join us in the inner circle. I mean, we try to give you, or at least I try to give you, as much very, very good information at very limited, no cost, and all these things. However, there are some times where you have to invest in yourself and you have to really break through. So again, I'm Carl Schilling. I want to thank you so much for your time again today. I will see you tomorrow. And we will talk about our next of the 7 principles investing behaviors that are damaging you. Have a great day.